Audio is a funny thing. Anyhow, welcome back again, After Hours. Do we have time for a quick one at the end of the day? Yes, no? Yes, no, maybe? Quick one at the end of the day. Can we solve this problem quickly? Hopefully. So let's take a look at it. For now, we'll go up to the bird's eye view. We'll move the great Sony out of the way. Alright, let's look at the paperwork here. Okay, so we have, once you get past the password, just acts like it's thinking. It acts like it is thinking. Okay, I can handle that. Right now, let's pull the side panel. This is a Dell Optiplex 7010 small form factor desktop PC. It's not entirely stock. I'm going to say the hard drive isn't stock and this SATA cable at first glance. Yeah, no, it's definitely not a stock hard drive. It has a 2.5 inch in it. Alright, let's go ahead and get some cables hooked up to this thing. We got our internet. We plug in our monitor. And generally, I plug in everything and then the power. Especially with Dells. Some Dells turn on themselves. And some don't. Am I hearing? It's almost all phones. I'm hearing like a slight echo. Okay. Echo gone. We'll get our keyboard and mouse for the KVM, and then we'll also plug in a keyboard and mouse for the front, or in the front panel, USB. KVM doesn't always work, and then even USB doesn't always work, depending on the OS. Anyhow, let's get our power plugged in. We have the monitor plugged in and powered up, and then shut directly back off. We're going to plug in, and we won't plug that in now until I see something on the KVM. We're going to power it on and see what appears on our KVM. Can we get to the Dell screen? F2. Alright, so far it's not loading the BIOS, and there it is. Let's take a look in the BIOS. Can we send this output elsewhere? If I unplug this VGA cable and plug in DisplayPort, will it go to OBS? Let's try it. Can we switch displays? Let's try and send this to OBS over DisplayPort to HDMI. Definitely not liking that. Well, let's plug in VGA back in. Get our BIOS screen up. And there it is. Okay. Right now, I want to check a couple things. System information. It's detecting the RAM, so the RAM seems to be good. Boot sequence. It is set for legacy. System config. SATA operation. That's the SATA operation. Smart reporting. Let's look at the drives. Okay, so in a sense, okay, hard drive is being detected. Sorry. Oh, wrong one. The hard drive is being detected. We were on the black screen when I tried to load the BIOS. So the hard drive is being detected as far as the BIOS can see it, but that doesn't literally mean anything. Let's go ahead and exit the BIOS and see what happens. All right, it shut down and it restarted. So far, so good. Everything seems normal. All right, we have a blinking black cursor. Or a black screen with a blinking white cursor, sorry. White cursor blinking, not good. It's almost like it's not detecting something. So, being that we have this opportunity in front of us, we're going to take a moment and we're going to carefully disassemble these because you don't need many tools to tear one of these down. We'll take our ROM out. We're going to flip that over to the side. And let's undo our hard drive. And we're going to attempt to lift it up. Alright, so we haven't been banging nothing around yet. Remember, being super careful, this is on. That's why I don't want to move the hard drive a whole lot, bang it around. And we'll pull it out of the tray that it sits in. It is a 2.5-inch drive. It's in off-brand. We have our black screen with the white cursor still. I'm going to take a moment. Alright, so problem found. Let's go ahead and power it down. It's not going to boot to Windows, but we can do a test on this to see if this is the suspected problem. The hard drive will detect in BIOS, as in it was reading that it was a 320 gig drive and some of the other stats about it within BIOS. Let's see if we can see that within OBS. We'll power it down and try and send it straight DisplayPort out. To OBS. And let's flip over to the black screen for a moment. What we're going to do is cancel, wrong one. All right, let's deactivate and then activate it. Hit OK. So we have an active screen. We're going to try and boot this thing into the BIOS. There was part of a Dell logo. Okay, getting into the BIOS, we can see. Let's go. Oh, sorry, keyboard's over here. So let's go ahead and go down to System Config and drives. So it is reading the 320 gig drive. It's reading that it's there, but if you could be here and listen to the sound it's making, you would wonder how it's doing that. So let's go ahead and power this down again. flip back over to a camera and pull our power, any other sources of power. Hit our power button to drain the power off of the system and pull the cables from the drive. This should be easy enough to get out of this, I hope. And indeed it is. Okay, that's out. Let's grab a SATA to USB 3 cable. We got one right here. Plug it in, and we're going to go over here to my desktop and plug in. This could put a stop to the whole system. Do we do it? Do we kill the stream? What else can we do? You know what? We're not going to put a stop to the stream, so give me a moment here. We'll diagnose this yet. I need a power supply in my laptop. HP power supply, where are you? There you are. And a lonely little HP computer. That's not you. Where did you go? There you are. Thought I lost you for a moment. Alright, fair enough. This gives us some more options. We have our mouse, we have our dongle plugged in. The mouse is turned on. Let's go ahead and plug in the laptop, get power to it. I don't have a working battery at the moment, and you get to laugh at my defective screen. But you know what? You won't get to see the defective screen if we send this signal out to HDMI. So let's do that. We'll clone the screen. Let's power on. Remember, we're going to try and mount our hard drive. Look at that awesome screen. Everybody should have missing pixels like that. I know, ain't it great? Okay, laptop is booting up. We have to sign in. Give me a moment here to do this portion of it. Alright, we pinned it. We have the HDMI. Do we have output? We do indeed have output. Let's go ahead and bring up our Windows Explorer. Alright, do we have a way to do this? It was opening up everything I'd been working. Okay, we don't need all the windows pulled back up. Microsoft, come on now. Did I ever do this? Oh, okay, so we got me here. We have our drive. We're going to plug it into the computer you see on screen through a USB. Actually, the actual USB 3 port. So let's do that. Go back to this one. That was kind of cool. All right, so here we are. The laptop, remember, we're looking at Windows. Let's go and look at this PC. So far, no go. Let's attempt to pull up disk management. This is either going to time out or take an extraordinarily long amount of time going by the sound. And it's a very light sound. It's not a loud click or a tap, like is very, very common. It's more like a swooshing sound, like a light sweeping. It's a real weird sound. So disk management is not coming up for us yet. It should. We have an SSD in the laptop, an optical drive, and this hard drive plugged in externally. Alright, I give up. It's not showing up in this PC. For one final note, let's go into Device Manager and we'll go in and try and add it. Like, actually add it. So it sees the USB 3 Seagate USB 3.0 cable USB device that's the SATA, the USB 3 cable that we're plugging in with. However, it's not actually detecting the drive. Let's try and scan for hardware changes. Will it work? We don't know yet, but we're trying. Alright, so nothing. Can we close it? Control Shift Escape should bring up, there it is. Microsoft Management Console, we're going to end that task. It's not going to add it. So there is a definite problem with the hard drive. It can't even be detected right now. More than likely, it is, I'm going to say, some kind of failure on the circuitry. We don't get into that here. We do have a backup from a while ago for this customer that has the actual Optiplex that's under here. So we're going to go ahead, shut down. Let's eject the drive if we can. Whenever you plug in a hard drive externally with like a SATA, the USB 3 interface or whatever, and the computer starts acting goofy, Windows don't want to load, everything's taking much longer, chances are that drive is failing or has already failed, even if it is detected by BIOS. So yeah, I don't even have a way to eject it. We're going to pull it, set our cable to the side, shut the computer down. Are you off? You are off. Alright, so right there, we've got an issue right away with some drives. We have a full-size drive that we can put in here. They generate, I don't know the numbers on it. Do they generate more heat than a 2.5-inch drive? But just as a test. This is one of our testers, and we'll see if this is the actual problem, or is there another problem that will present itself. Alright. Hard drive is in the sled. I'm going to put the sled back in here. Everything's unplugged, powered off. Let's move our ROM. We will get our SATA cable. SATA data, SATA power. Alright, get power to it. Now we need to set the little sled in, and then we will lock it in place. There it's in place. Move our SATA power out of the way. ROM back in. Everything is plugged in. Let's get power back to this system and see if we can resolve what's going on here. We're going to do an install and see if the computer is normal, or do we still get the black screen? The black screen like it's thinking. Which a quick install should be a few moments. Actually, nothing to that. And then we get to reboot and see if it logs in like normal. I'm guessing it's a problem with the drive going by the sound of it. This should be fairly successful. And we have Ethernet. We need a Windows 10 installer. That's 7, 10, x64. Going to go to a back USB port. Front will work. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We're going to go with a back port to ensure better compatibility for doing this install. Power it up and get our finger on the F12 key. It is a Dell. F12 will give us our boot options, allegedly. However, it went to OBS and not out to the KVM monitor. Getting some boot options? Yes? No? All right, different drive. So taking note of this too, there's a different drive in the system and still a very similar symptom. Let's unplug. Let's go ahead and unplug the DisplayPort source there. We're going to power down and power up directly to the KVM and see if we can get boot options. Preparing one-time boot menu, so it is coming up. Whether it refreshes or not, we'll find out. Do SATA cables go bad? Alright, to continue, press the F1 key to run on F2. Let's press F1. Okay. Legacy boot USB storage device. We are on a Windows setup screen. I got a message on the black screen. It eventually went to a screen where it detected no hard drive with it plugged into that port. So, is it now not? I still think there's a hard drive problem. Whether this drive here is formatted as raw or it's not formatted, it's just raw currently. You think it would still kind of detect it? Maybe not. I don't know. Got the message up that no drives detected. F1 to continue to your boot menu, F2 for setup, and F3 for something else. We did the F1 to let it continue, got our menu, and we're currently running a Windows setup. Can we clone that setup? I doubt it. Oh, how amazing would that be if we could? I want to try and do this on OBS, not do it over on the KVM. Deactivate, activate. And for some reason it just will not. I don't think you can switch, honestly, I don't think you can switch your display once it's set up. Okay, let's do it over. There's our one-time boot menu. We'll see if it gives us that same error message with the nothing detected. It appears as though it is going to. Here, just to get something there, we'll throw that up. Even though it's boring, I'm boring. Look at it. Alright, so still nothing as far as that is concerned. We're going to stay out here where we can get flip from one source to another easily. I don't want to just leave it on a black screen. That's not going to be very beneficial. So we're still waiting on what? Boot menu. And the same thing applies vice versa. If you're running out DisplayPort, it will not refresh and reconnect to a VGA connection. It won't. You can't go from one display adapter or one display connection to another. At least as far as this setup, going from a KVM as one monitor and OBS as another. In this case, which we are. So still nothing. No boot menu. No nothing. Reset's not even working. And there's our screen with the black cursor. So let's see if something comes up. Alright, so it looks as though we have a Windows install in here, which we don't want. We're going to attempt the install again. So it isn't formatted as raw. Why is it not? Why is it not? Alright, here's what we're going to do. Since I have no success other than getting a test hard drive trying to display with an outdated version of Windows, what that tells me though is that it's not a computer problem so much as it's a hard drive problem. We're going to power down and go back to the KVM because this is not very beneficial flipping sources. I mean, it's a great show if you just want to see the same two scenes over and over. We're going to actually go back to the KVM, which does display properly. We get the Dell splash screen. We get to go to the boot menu. We're already at the boot menu screen. We're going to go to the USB storage device. 64-bit Windows. While we're doing that, we'll pull this out of this handy container just while that does its thing, or this handy sled. Alright, we are getting to the Windows setup, which I would show you, but I can't. That was interesting. Alright, and we're at a Windows 10 setup screen. I guess it wouldn't be hard. Yeah, no matter the amount of times, I know it's never going to work. I always like to try, though. Alright, we're doing install now. We're going to see if this thing will act somewhat normal. The hard drive is obviously being detected, though. If it has a current crashed Windows 7 install on it, that's being detected, and it tells me this being detected and not booting, just going to the black screen with the cursor. It's got to be a hard drive problem. It doesn't show up if you plug it in externally. I can't think of any reason for that. We'll take Windows 10 home. And actually, I might be able to. I don't know. No, that won't work. This might. It'll look horrible though. Move that ring light on there. And all kind of other stuff in our way. There's our KVM. Even though it's sideways, we are indeed doing a Windows setup, and it looks absolutely horrible with that flashing. Custom install. Okay, so yeah, it wasn't wrong. It is a 100 megabyte. That's Windows 7 setup. We're going to just do an install and see if this computer here will it act normal. With this setup that we're working on over here, will this act normal? Can I get to a login screen and have it remain working? And then if it does that, we're going to plug that hard drive back into the SATA power SATA data and see. It's alright, we can delete the partition, trust me. Alright, so a few moments with that doing its thing. I'm going to get another on deck and see what there is. Next problem. Next problem is can't log on, states needs reboot. Any questions, call. It's only 1.5 years old. Okay. Let's take that off, take the paperwork, tape that to paperwork. It's an 8th Gen Core i3 Lenovo computer. And we're having problems. It can't log on, it needs to reboot. Watch out. making a little room here, a little room for the computer. A perfect little Velcro coil. You wish you could coil Velcro like that? I know I do. It was wound up like fruit by the foot, but the black kind of fruit by the foot, black fuzzy fruit by the foot. Getting files ready. We're at 43%, and then after that, it's going to install features and updates. So this isn't going to be near as quick as I thought. Should have did it with an SSD. We have a test SSD here. I'm a dummy though. What do I know? Horrible, but we'll do a status check-in. Oh, did it die? It died. What happened there? Sony, you're not liking being over there. I had problems getting you started earlier. Oh no, my mistake. There it is. There's that goofy screen. So let's do this. Let's yeah, frame rate change isn't even gonna help it at this point. It's just gonna flash. So we are, and that's horrible to read. We are at, did it focus? It might have. We're at 69% of getting files ready. We'll let that do its thing. Recovery, your PC could not start properly. A required device isn't connected or can't be accessed. Well, this seems like it's a very similar problem. Let's hit escape for UEFI firmware settings, if it indeed will get us there. We have another hard drive issue. F8, startup settings. It's not having any key presses. All right, 80% on this one. Moving over to Lenovo, everything is just it. It's non-responsive to anything, so we have no choice but to power it off by holding down the key. That's not the best option. Escape. Did one of these keys get us somewhere? Alright, we have the Windows spinny thing on our little Lenovo friend here. We're going to let it try it again to see. Alright, we're getting to the high 90s. Yes, we're going to finish up, let this reboot. It's going to do its first initial setup. Oh well, it happens. It's a thing. After that is done, we're going to plug in the hard drive that came out of it. After we know it will boot through to Windows, we're going to plug that drive in. This drive does not even mount as far as Windows is concerned. I tried on my laptop. I'm going to try right now on the all-in-one computer over here, the all-in-wonder Acer, to see what it says about plugging a drive in. Is it just going to be your basic broken drive, or is it going to be magical, wonderful, and let it mount? You're going to be a good little hard drive. You know what? Let's exclude Seagate from the option. Third party. Max Digital drive. Oh boy. Give me a moment, people. I got a boss calling. Alright. We got this. I didn't even see what it's doing. I was on the phone. Slacking on the job. Alright, it did its reboot, I'm supposing. If it didn't, I just screwed it up, and we'll just kill it here. Tell me it went to... It did. It went to OBS. Okay, so here's our Windows 10 setup finishing up. Let's see what happens real quick. The Lenovo is just, it's a non-issue. It shuts itself down. There's no telling what is wrong. Other than it literally just is not accessing a device that it needs to. A device that it needs to boot. It can't access it quite right now. You get that message. So we're going to, this is going to be a deeper dive tomorrow. We'll see what we can come up with on that. Now let's check the status of our Windows setup. Getting devices ready. Alright, let's be honest here for a moment. Let's be honest, we're not going to use the Sony camera today. We're not going to use the Sony camera with the auto shill. So let's shut it off and tear it down for the time being. And get it out of the way since we're not using it. And we can clean up. We're getting out of here in a few. We're going to check the status of our Windows install. Let it get to a desktop and we'll do that other quick test. I honestly, and I know Cortana's going to talk and I'm not going to hear it, So, what fun that's going to be. So I'm going to have to pay attention to OBS, and whenever she starts getting crazy with the audience, I'm just going to have to shut her down. Alright, I can't clean up the USB audio interface recorder. It's running the whole stream, the audio for it. A few cables, and it's unplugged and ready to go. Let's get you out of the way. And check back at the repair. Okay, so not super speedy, but getting there enough. Parts. That's a boring screen to look at. Who wants to look at that? Come on now. Get ready, Microsoft. Already, just with how this is acting when we switch over to it in OBS, and how... Did I lose it? Oh no, it's on. Yeah, that's right. It's over here on the all-in-one. Let's see. Yeah, so with this drive plugged in, Windows Explorer doesn't want to load. It pulls a window up, but it loads nothing. If you click on this PC, nothing. As soon as you pull the hard drive, the computer springs back to life. So this local disk, as Windows likes to call it, this local disk, external hard drive as we're plugging in now. No good, not working. Everything screeches to a halt when you plug it in. That is a telltale sign of a failing drive. Put that there. We'll check on... We're still getting ready, people. This is the most boring part. I hate this part. Whenever you literally just waiting. Is it safe to say that because we just did a fresh Windows setup, do we need to let the setup complete or reboot and see that this makes it to Windows before we can try and see if this does the same thing again? And it won't, before we can determine that it's a hard drive issue, not a computer issue. Alright, I got my big head in there. The fan is on. I was wondering about it. It's definitely on. Alright, are we getting somewhere? Or is this a much deeper problem? Are we having a motherboard issue? So that could be. Alright, getting ready. Another restart. A spinny. I'm not thinking of Microsoft. I do see the value in editing videos, obviously. I see much value in editing videos, but you can't get the live aspect of them when you're editing and cutting much stuff out. It makes for a shorter, more concise viewing experience for somebody watching. However, I don't know. You can take out mistakes and screw ups, and I know you can put them in as a blooper reel or whatever, but I like the live. If you screw it up or make a mistake, you own it aspect of it. I don't know, it makes it interesting, makes it fun, makes it, this is just a hobby anyhow, so. Let's see. This thing is not super speedy. It is an older. I think with an SSD, we would already be done with this stream. honestly. I think it would be a done deal. I think we could probably even redo the install with an SSD and still beat the way this is going, the road this one's on. Perhaps not though. Maybe not. All right, we got somewhere. Cortana, are you gonna squawk to the audience? If you do, we're clicking that little thing to mute you. All right, just a moment. What was the other catchphrase earlier a few moments ago? Getting ready. Now just a moment. Another minute. About a minute. I think it's about a minute on a Mac. This is great content. Of course it is. Of course it is. You know you want this content. All right, I'm just being smart now, being stupid and silly. It is time to get out of here, though. We're gonna let it go, though. We're gonna see how many. Say in just a moment. Do we have volume? Okay, of course we do. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be ridiculous about it. Because one mic failed, we're gonna pull out the mic that we do the podcast with. And somebody pulled in here. My door is locked. We're gonna see what they want. Let's hit yes. Who do we got? Oh, I think she wants a computer. Give me a moment, people. Oh, all of my batteries are dead. It's time to charge the batteries. I think these rechargeables. See, this is what we had to resort to have a voice. We're using the mic for the show. So let's get back to the Windows computer. We're gonna skip it. We're just doing this quick. I want to get it to a desktop. And if Cortana was, is that mine? No, that would have to be the computer's. Durr. Well, we're back to waiting on a train. Um, what can we do here? What can we actually do here? Let's get the speakers out of the way. All right, I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna say that if it's letting us do this setup, this computer is functioning fine, albeit with an old and aging test hard drive. It's just a confirmed working hard drive. It is an older 200 gig drive. I mean, when's the last time you saw one of those? Exactly. So it is to an extent working. What we're going to do is go ahead and shut this down. I'm not doing this goofy create an account because there is no offline option until after you get partway through it. And I don't want to, it's a nuisance to do it this way. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to power down. We're going to plug the stock hard drive in. The stock drive, like the drive that was in it when it showed up here. And we're gonna see, do we get anything? Actually, I don't even think we need that. Nope. We can get the cables right here. Let's get our optical drive back out of the way. And that will be the issue. Obviously, if that is the issue, we got to get a new drive and put in it. Let's find out. Is it merely a computer, or can we get this to boot? Mm, Watch it come up to a login screen. I'll just die. It hasn't done it yet. It just acts like it's thinking. But hey, if it does, it does. Last experience with this is that it came up to here, and then it said there was a device not connected to the system, or it just stayed here. Not indefinitely, obviously. Indefinitely, we would still be here testing it from that time. So let's say it's no good and fully believe that it's a hard drive problem, being that it screeches the computer to a halt. Past experience. Okay, so our display did flip over from OBS to the VGA now. I don't think we could get it to come back though. We're on the KVM and there's nothing. Bad hard drive. Diagnosed. We'll put a new one in. Probably going to push for an SSD if she wants to run this much, much quieter. No moving parts. Not going to age and get loud as far as I know. That's not a quality that they have. Anyhow, case solved on this one. We'll get onto that tomorrow. It's a little late to be calling people tonight as far as business is concerned. Anyhow, yes, have a good evening. The rest of it, anyways. Good morning, good afternoon, whichever it is, wherever you are. Enjoy it. Have a good one. If this is what you do, a hobby, a passion, even a job, and you enjoy it, awesome. Share it, spread it, give it away. Set it loose out there in the wild for people. Share it. If you know somebody needs it done, give them a hand doing it. You know, maybe do it free, forever, for life. All right, no, that's not a good business model. I understand for some people. So yeah, give them a hand though if they need it. Anyhow, thank you for clicking that link. Now, in the future, anyone, everyone, I appreciate it, and we'll see you tomorrow, Thursday, some kind of train wreck. Probably this train wreck over here, more than likely. See you then.